You're listening to All Chiefed Up.
If Kadarius Toney was to be injured like that again, I'm cutting him.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
Mike, I've said it a lot. He's one injury away, man.
Right. Well, look, say for example he gets injured again on week 1 of camp. If it's like a little sprain, he has to miss 3 days, and he's back by the first preseason game. Like, are you still out on him, or are you like, okay, we can do that as long as it's not significant time?
Tony?
Yeah.
If he breaks a fingernail, I'm done with him. There's no more.
What if he drops a pass? If he drops a pass or he gets injured?
I'm not even worried about him dropping a stupid pass as much as just like, I have no more leeway for that man on injuries. I'm sorry, but if it's the least little thing, we're done here. But yeah, I mean, obviously if he makes it to the season, he makes the squad, he's getting significant reps. If he still has a dropping problem, you cut the cord quick, right?
Right. Anthony says if it's Toney and a hammy, he's hitting the highway.
Absolutely.
He's kicking him to the curb. Wade says 2-week injury minimum for Toney. And
I don't even give him that. He says, can they please cut Moore or Toney already?
I don't think they're going to, man.
Yeah, man. Rob, you know this has been a big talking point, right? Like, we've talked about it a lot on this channel. I'm sure other people have as well. But when it really boils down to it, Rob, I don't think either of them are going anywhere. I really don't. Like, I think it would take an injury from Toney, and maybe they're not as, like,
they're not
cutthroat
as
as me.
As you are right now.
Like, if he breaks a nail, they're going to keep him. But, like, I think if it's a significant injury from Toney, then okay, move on. Sky Moore, there's no way he's going anywhere. If they do it, there's a small chance, and if they do, it'll kind of blow my mind a little bit. 2nd round draft pick, a lot of potential. You use them sparingly for 2 years. Let's see what he's doing in his 3rd year. I just don't see them giving that up. Just like, boom, hey, you're cut, bye. Don't see it happening. They're both on rookie contracts. You're not paying them hardly anything. Like, to me, it's almost a no-brainer to keep the two if they're healthy and if they're working to get better. You have to see what Sky Moore can do this year.
If you are a franchise owner, so let's just say you are the New Orleans Saints. You're the owner of the team. Like, you're the GM.
I'm selling.
Okay, after you get rejected for sale, and you come back, and you could take Kadarius Toney or Sky Moore, like with trade value, which one out of those two would you offer the highest draft capital for to try to get a trade out?
Sky Moore. Let me.
I honestly didn't think you were going to say that. I thought you were going to say Toney because of the upside.
Let me preface that. Sky Moore has not had the injury history of Kadarius Toney. Like, I think a lot of people look at Kadarius Toney and they see a kid made of glass that does not care about football.
Yeah.
I think that's what they see. If you're just going for strictly upside and athleticism, then yeah, Kadarius Toney. But I think if you're looking at it from a franchise perspective and you're like, hey, here's a young guy that had a lot of potential and he might not have met it. He might not fit that great in the offense he was drafted to. But I could take him, I could use him. If I was New Orleans, I'd try to repeat the Joe Horn thing. Now, with Kadarius Toney, it's like you could try that. You could try to revive his career. But that's just saying that he's not going to fall down and break his leg on the way to the parking lot in the morning, you know? So, to me, I think I would feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah. I think I would want to take a flyer on Sky Moore still. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, one, I feel like other offenses, Sky Moore may fit in better than here. You've got so much competition. Every receiver here is a slot receiver. Like every freaking one of them to this point. So You've got so much competition. I think last year with the receiving group being down, I think that kind of hurt him. Having so many in rotation last year kind of hurt him. And he has pretty good work ethic. And when he was dropping balls his first year punt returning, right?
Yeah.
He manned up and he took that, which was a lot different than you've seen from sometimes Kadarius Toney and them. So I kind of like that about him. So I don't know if I would want to give up too much for him. I'd say maybe a 6th-round pick is about as high as I could go for either of them.
Anthony says, just think, if many Chiefs fans are so down on Moore and Toney, just think how the league thinks of them. And our opportunity once again crushed the opponent's wishful thinking. So I kind of get what you're saying, Anthony. My perspective is that like actual teams and coaches are not nearly as down on these two players as Chiefs fans. Like, I don't even think they're in the same planet. Or else, they wouldn't be on the team. Like, if you have to think, if Andy Reid and Brett Veach even halfway thought what the Chiefs kingdom, like the fan base thinks, they would have been gone 2 months ago. Or longer than that.
Look, Kadarius Toney would have been cut last year when he pulled that crap in the playoffs.
I honestly think that they have a plan for these two. Like, whether it works out or not, I don't think they care because they don't have that much invested.
Look, Andy,
Now-
I don't know what y'all's plan is, but let's go back to the drawing board with it. Let's go back.
I think they think there's something there, or they would have already moved on. Now, especially with like Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, they do have more invested. They invested an entire second-round draft pick in the kid. So,
Yeah.
you've been worried about the defensive ends, the whole defensive line as a whole. You were thinking maybe we needed to add more depth there, but
Yes.
I think, are you still on that wavelength if Charles Omenihu's back and healthy?
I mean, they got enough. They have enough. They were second in the league in pressures, second in the league in sacks last year. I will say it came from a lot of blitzing. So would I like to get rid of that? Possibly, but that's Spag style, so who knows? And I think it's fine as long as Omenihu comes back. And we've got some positive stuff here. Omenihu reveals today an encouraging injury update. He says it's going good. Omenihu said of his rehab process via Aaron Wilson of KPRC2 out of Houston. Slow process. Everybody told me it was going to be like that, but it's been decent. Honestly, right now I'm steady. I'm cool. I kind of keep myself like that, just stay plain, and we'll get to the point where I ramp it up like that, Steve. So sounds like Omenihu's doing well. He keeps posting like things on Twitter, everywhere. He's got a YouTube page now. So he's posting positive updates, and I mean, it's nice to see him maybe getting back a little earlier than people thought.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was kind of pushing the limits on that, right? He kept saying he was going to be back like before the season even started, and everybody knew that was unrealistic. We're like, that's not going to happen. That's impossible. But he was adamant about it. I think he's definitely like doing everything in his power to get back sooner than expected, which is awesome. But at the same time, it's just like between him and the team themselves, they don't need to rush it. I don't think they're in a position where they have to rush this. Let's wait till he's back. He's comfortable. He's healthy, because it's going to be a long season, man, and we're chasing that three-peat. So I don't think you have to get him back week 1 or even remotely close to that.
No, look, the fact that they got Mike Dana back on a very nice contract, that sealed up the defensive end for me a lot. You got to remember, when I was harping on the defensive ends and needing help, we hadn't re-signed Dana back at that point yet. Like, Brett Veach was just dragging ass, and he didn't care. He's a guy that's a disruptor. He caused a lot of fumbles at key times. He got a lot of sacks at key times. Charles Omenihu is a guy that when he's healthy, he does fit this defense. He's long, he can set the edge, and he is a Spags prototype guy. Like, he's quick, and he's just a beast. So I think with him and Chris Jones and George Karlaftis, I mean, Mike Dana, and again, we're still talking about Felix. I think Felix is going to show a little bit more this year than he did. Is he going to get to the point to where we say Felix is freaking amazing? I don't think we'll see that this year, but I do think we'll be able to look back at the end of this year and say Felix progressed.
Absolutely. I think everybody's looking for that. How much does Felix progress? How is he going to fill into this role? But it's nice to have Charles Omenihu. Obviously, Mike, we thought they might cut him because he was of the injury, not being able to get back.
Yeah.
Paying him a pretty decent little contract here. So I thought maybe they might move on from him for that reason. But obviously they think he's good enough and he fits so well in Spags' defense that they were willing to wait. And I think that means that we all have to respect that, and we have to be excited about him coming back anyway, because in a short amount of time last season, he was able to do a lot in Spags' defense. Like, he fits into it perfectly. I think it's a perfect spot for him, and I think he just wants to get back and eat, man. I'm excited for it.
Me too.